His contact with Hill left the Williams too damaged to continue. There was no title for Damon, but sympathy and respect. Lots of it.
And in first place, the viewer's choice for BBC Television's Sports Personality of the Year for 1994, Damon Hill. Terrific. Well done. Very good indeed. Many congratulations.
This season, it would be completely amiss for me not to say that my season was immeasurably influenced by the loss of my teammate Ayrton Senna, and it's with that in mind that I receive any award like this year.
The end of a traumatic season. 95 saw David Coulthard confirmed as Damon's teammate, and they looked set to work well together.
As a person away from the circuit, I don't think this is in no way trying to be nice to him just for the sake of doing an interview with you. I don't think he could probably find a more entertaining person to spend an evening with. He really is amusing to be with, and you know, there's no awkward silences. At the circuit, I have to be honest, sometimes I found it quite awkward. Sometimes he could be very open, friendly. Other times he could be quite closed off.
Damon was focusing remorselessly on Michael Schumacher, seemingly at the expense of his own talent and form. The second half of 95 was not a happy time.
Off! They're both off! It's Schumacher, they're both off, they're both out! And off goes Damon Hill out of the race! Oh, and Hill hits Schumacher, they both go off! And Hill is out of the Grand Prix of Europe, and therefore effectively, in my opinion, virtually out of the World Championship. And he's done it again. This is unbelievable. He's done it again.
In 95, the Schumacher pressure got to him frequently. When he came to Adelaide for the last race, he was already then a different person. I asked him later, he dominated that event, I asked him later how he had changed. He just said he was in Bali, had a good talk to himself, and arrived in Adelaide essentially a different man, mentally speaking. And that new strength or maturity is carried on throughout this season.
If a new Damon Hill had won that last 1995 Grand Prix, a further improved version would contest 1996, mentally prepared and now in better than ever physical shape as well. With Schumacher now facing a tough challenge at Ferrari, Damon was a relaxed presence in the pit lane. Best car, best team, best frame of mind. He had a new teammate, Jacques Villeneuve, who theoretically wasn't going to be a major threat. The IndyCar champion was in his first Formula One season with a lot to learn. This was destined to be Damon's big year.
Some teams don't appreciate they can get more out of a good driver and make him a great driver if they create a better comfort zone for them. And I think the continuity in any team, as long as it's good and productive and everyone gets on, and the pedaler in the car, i.e. the driver, is a reasonably quick driver, they can flourish from one year to another.
Villeneuve took pole position in Melbourne and for a while led the race, but Hill took the victory.
And Damon Hill crosses the line to win the Australian Grand Prix. And sure enough, Damon Hill wins in Brazil, a magnificent drive. Damon Hill wins in Argentina.
3 wins out of 3, the perfect start to the season. But what credit to Damon, what credit to the car?
When people make very complimentary remarks about the supposed excellence of the Williams and the Renault engine, of course, it tends to speak poorly of the incumbents, the drivers driving for the team that year. And I would never support that. The car clearly is very good, but it requires drivers to drive it. And the drivers we have had, without exception, over many years have been winners, including Damon.
Yes, the Williams car is by far the most competitive car or superior car out there at this time. But you still need to have a good pedaler pedaling it. You know, you've got to have a driver there who doesn't make the mistakes, and you can make simple mistakes at 200 miles an hour, which is the difference between, you know, either winning the race or losing the race or even finishing. And if you don't finish, you don't get the points, and ultimately at the end of the year you don't get enough points to win the championship.
By the Monaco Grand Prix, Damon was comfortably out front in the championship. Monaco has always presented him with another separate target. This is where his father was dominant, winning on 5 occasions. At this point in his career, Damon had already won more Grand Prix than his late father, but he hadn't won at Monaco, which became a top priority. And unfortunately, it still remains a frustratingly elusive target.
Damon are thinking very much championship nowadays, and that's the important thing as well. Clearly he wants to win every race, and smoke out of the back of the Williams.
Despite the Monaco frustration, his teammate Villeneuve had emerged as the only really serious opposition for the championship. But Hill took wins in France and Canada, and then he took pole position for the British Grand Prix at Silverstone.
Good start by Villeneuve. In fact, he edges ahead, and the Benetton goes ahead, and Damon Hill is down in the 5th position with Michael Schumacher ahead of him. A terrible start for Damon Hill.
And it didn't get any better after that. Villeneuve took victory, and after a wheel-bearing failure at Copse, there were no points for Damon in his home Grand Prix. Fortnight later in Germany, Gerhard Berger's blown engine helped put Damon's championship effort back on course. But he still couldn't entirely dominate the season, and in Spa, a misunderstanding with the team wrecked his race and left him trailing in 5th. The momentum of his championship charge had gone, the title-winning effort had become an agonizing struggle, and worse was to come.
Damon Hill's future in Grand Prix motor racing has been thrown into doubt after his Renault Williams team announced he would not be driving for them next season.
It makes me more determined to win, and my only goal is to win the championship.
John Alesi leads with Damon Hill in 2nd position. Damon Hill leads. Hill passes John Alesi as they go into the Rogia. Look, under the bridge there.
The only consolation, Villeneuve also failed to score in Monza, but in Estoril he beat Hill to the line to deny him championship victory once again. The waiting continued, and the frustration was scarcely eased by the announcement of a drive for Arrows next season. It just served to further underline that this was his biggest and possibly last championship opportunity. He was left needing just 1 point in Japan. Villeneuve needed race victory at least, and he was on pole with Hill alongside.
And a brilliant start by Damon Hill, and Villeneuve has been passed. It's Villeneuve. Jacques Villeneuve is out of the race. Damon Hill is the world champion of 1996. And Damon Hill wins the Japanese Grand Prix. And I've got to stop because I've got a lump in my throat.
Damon, for 12 years you have fought, you've trained, you've denied yourself, and you've reached the pinnacle of motorsport. Has it sunk in?
Well, I think, Murray, right now I feel fantastic about what's happened, but I think it's going to take a couple of weeks, maybe months, for it to really sink in, you know, the full impact of what I've done, because right now everything's hit me so quickly, and I haven't allowed myself to think about the championship. You know, although it's been going all season, I haven't really allowed myself the thought of, you know, of actually winning it, because I needed to concentrate. So I'm really now just entering in unknown territory, but it feels good.
Damon, did you ever, in your heart of hearts, in your innermost thoughts, doubt that it would happen?
Well, and I never, put it this way, I never counted on it. I always prodded myself and reminded myself all the way along the line that it wasn't going to be given to me, and that I had to work for it. And if I didn't do everything I possibly could to win the championship, then I'd never forgive myself. So this season I believe I put everything I possibly could into it. But there's always that doubt. There's always the fear that, you know, for whatever reason, it might not happen, and it might not be your own fault, but at least if you've done everything you can, that's the most important thing.
Did you have sleepless nights?
Yeah, I'll say, 1 or 2, but that's...
And what,
quite
getting
common.
up and pacing about, or just lying there and going over and over and over in your mind?
Yeah, but it's a good thing to go over things in your head. I mean, even at Suzuka, you know, I found myself, despite having got over jet lag, I'd still a couple of nights, you know, was up quite late thinking about the next day, and but it prepared me, you know, and it was a good thing, and it's not all bad being nervous, you know. You use the energy to perform.
Now, you had to take somebody with you virtually all the way. Your wife, Georgie, wonderful partner. Where did you meet each other?
We met each other in South London at a fireworks party. At least she says there was fireworks. And yeah, no, it was in 1980, a long time ago.
Instant attraction?
Yes, instant attraction, and we've been together ever since.
Now, Damon, you've got 3 children, Oliver, Joshua, Tabitha, so presumably family means a great deal to you.
Yeah, it does, and you know, I miss them a lot when I'm away, but I appreciate them all the more when I'm back home, and you know, I love having the children around me, and you know, I get a lot from them.
You know, regardless of the championship, I think Damon is a champion as a human being, because, you know, motor racing really isn't everything in life. You know, I know it's a silly thing to say in a motor racing program, but, you know, in the end, we all get measured by some other statistic, and it's not just how many pole positions you get. And I think on that level, Damon is a great person, great human being, and already won many championships, I think.
I wasn't going to watch. I never watch on television when it's live. I never watch. I can't. But I was awake at 2, and then I thought, well, I don't know. And I got up at 4, and they said, well, we knew you'd get up. And of course I sat there and watched it, and it was just so exciting, wasn't it? I mean, it really was. I mean, you made such a brilliant start. And of course when Villeneuve went off, poor chap, my eldest daughter rang and said, Mummy, he's world champion. Tanya, the nanny, was in tears and saying he's world champion, and then my younger daughter rang, and she couldn't even speak. She was so choked, absolutely, you know, she was full up. And myself, I was just numb. I was just numb, because you know, it's just, I don't know what happens to you, but I just went, it's not a coldness, it's just a numbness. And, you know, to watch him do it, I'm so thrilled now that I got up and watched him, because other races I can't when I go and play golf, and I'll try and pretend it's not happening.
I mean, I've followed racing for so long, and I can't remember ever being as pleased with anybody winning a championship, you know.
Now, you're world champion now, but you've been a superstar in the eyes of the public for quite a long time now. What do you feel all this has cost you?
Well, I don't think I look at it in terms of cost. You know, I look at it in terms of investing myself into what I've been doing in my career. But there is a price, and the price has been, you know, maybe depriving Georgie, my wife, time and the family time, and you know, being quite selfish in actual fact, you know, in pursuing my goals and what I want to do. But it's so...
Can you go into the pub now and relax without being besieged?
Well, put it this way, if I went to a pub now in England, I probably would be besieged, but I'd quite enjoy it, you know. I don't think that would be a problem, and I might even try it.
Well, I'm delighted to say, congratulations, Damon Hill, world champion.